Hello, everybody. Good morning from wherever you are. This is a obituary reading a few days ago happened. The great Pat Robertson passed away, and I didn't get around to paying my respects to him. And I thought we'd all do it right now. It's Sunday where I am, so what better time to talk about the man who changed politics at the time and has an effect on today. He reached out to millions through his service to God and was was a good dude all around. One of the people that we should strive to be like. So, Pat Robertson, broadcaster who helped make religion central to GOP politics, dies at age 93. He was not central to GOP politics, but central to politics. There's a big difference here. Of course, we're never allowed to have more of an opinion than what the mainstream tells you to have. But anyway, let me get over here and start reading this. Pat Robertson, a religious broadcaster who turned a tiny Virginia station into a global Christian broadcasting network, tried to run for president and helped make religion central to Republican Party politics in America throughout his Christian coalition, has died. The network announced he was 93. Robertson died at his home in Virginia Beach, beautiful place, Virginia, early Thursday morning, according to the network. No cause was given. Robertson's enterprises also include Regent University, it's a very good school, and Evangelical Christian School in Virginia Beach, the American Center for Law and Justice, good law school, which defends First Amendment rights of religious people, and Operation Blessing, an international humanitarian organization. I'm not sure if they vaccinate dogs or not, but I do know somebody who did that. But for more than half a century, Robertson was a familiar presence in American living rooms, known for his 700 Club television show. In later years, his televised pronouncements of God's judgment on America for everything from homosexuality for the teaching of evolution. So that my it's weird. I have two moments in my life where Pat Robertson came into. One was as a small child, the 700 Club. My aunt loved that show. And my aunt also thought that over the air broadcast was all she needed. And so we go visit her, and she lived in this small town in East Tennessee. And me being from the big city of Memphis, I was horrified by the thought of no cartoons. But the show that came on the best was the 700 Club, and she would shush you when it was on. So she had to hear that 700 Club. And it's funny because you hear my evolution in media correspondence is that you take watching a show you like it because you hear something, you understand it, they say it in a way that's familiar to you, and then you take those teachings, because that's really what a communication is here, is a teaching, and you spread that word out. I do not remember my aunt ever spreading the word. She just had to watch the show like a little girl in church. You had to watch it, be quiet, and then it was over. The money poured in. Oh, of course, it gets back to the money. As he solicited donations, his influence soared, and when he moved directly into politics by seeking the GOP presidential nomination in 1988, he brought a huge following with him. Robertson pioneered a now common strategy of courting Iowa's network of evangelical Christian churches and finished in second place in the Iowa caucus ahead of Vice President George H.W. Bush. His masterstroke was insisting that 3 million followers across the U.S. sign petitions before he would decide to run. Robertson's biographer, Jeffrey K. Hayden, said the tactic gave him an army. He asked people to pledge that they would work for him, pray for him, and give him money. Hayden, a University of Virginia sociologist, told the Associated Press in 1988, political historians may view it as one of the most ingenious things a candidate ever did. It was grassroots mailers. I do not know. I never thought of a time without the grassroots mailer. So he probably was the first doing it. This would upset everybody. Robertson later endorsed Bush, who won the presidency. Pursuit of Iowa's evangelicals is now a ritual for Republican hopefuls, including those currently seeking the White House in 2024. Robertson started the Christian Coalition in Chesapeake in 1989, saying it would further his campaign's ideals. It's amazing how once you go out on the campaign field, how everything changes for you. The coalition became a major political force in the 1990s, mobilizing conservative voters through grassroots activities. By the time his resignation on the coalition's as a coalition president in 2001, Robertson said he wanted to concentrate on ministerial work. His impact on both religion and politics in the U.S. was enormous, according to John C. Green, an emeritus political science professor at the University of Akron. Real quick here, where he says that he stepped down in 2001. The word was that Robertson could not stand the Clintons, and in 2000, the that was the whole hanging Chad Florida thing. Florida was not supposed to be a red state at all. And the Christian Coalition went in there and did massive door-to-door campaign for the Bush Cheney people. And that is how they turned it over. They were supposed to win Florida by like 50 to 100,000 votes, something like that. I forget what the numbers were. And ended up losing by like 400. It was a shocker. That's why the whole hanging Chad, the 2000 elections, why every election is looked at by lawyers now. It's because nobody would accept the fact that the guy just outthought everybody else and took it to the actual voter to decide. Robertson said he wanted to concentrate on his ministerial work. His impact on both religion and politics in the U.S. was enormous, according to John C. Green. Many followed the path Robertson cut in religious broadcasting, Green told the AP in 2021. In American politics, Robertson helped cement the alliance between conservative Christians and the Republican Party. Marion Gordon, Pat Robertson's, that's his full name, excuse me. Marion Gordon, Pat was his nickname. Robertson was born March 22nd, 1930 in Lexington, Virginia, to Absalom Willis Robertson and Gladys Churchill Robertson. His father served for 36 years as a congressman and U.S. senator from Virginia. Want to guess which party he was part of? If you said Democrat Party, you get a lollipop. So go get yourself a lollipop. After graduating from Washington and Lee University, he served as an assistant adjutant of the 1st Marine Division in Korea. He received a law degree from Yale University Law School, but failed the bar exam and chose not to pursue a law career. Robertson met his wife, Adelia Dede Elmer, at Yale in 1952. He was a Southern Baptist. She was a Catholic. Earning a master's in nursing, 18 months later, they ran off to be married by a justice of the peace, knowing neither family would approve. Way to go, Pat. Robertson was interested in politics, but until he found religion. D. Robertson told the AP in 1987 he stunned her by pouring out their liquor, tearing a nude print off the wall, and declaring he had found the Lord. They moved into a commune in New York City's Bedford Stuyvesant neighborhood because Robertson said God told him to sell all of his possessions and minister to the poor. She was tempted to return home to Ohio, but I realized that was not what the Lord would have had me do. I had promised to stay, so I did. Robertson received a master's in divinity from New York Theological Seminary in 1959, then drove south with his family to buy a bankrupt UHF television station in Portsmouth, Virginia. He said he had just $70 in his pocket, but soon found investors. The CBN went on the air October 1st, 1961, established as a tax-exempt religious nonprofit. CBN brought in hundreds of millions, disclosing $321 million in ministry support in 2022 alone. One of Robertson's innovations was to use the secular talk show format on the network's flagship show, The 700 Club, which grew out of the telethon when Robertson asked 700 viewers for monthly $10 donations. Wow. He then suited television with additional revival meetings or church services and gained a huge audience. Here's a well-educated person having sophisticated conversations with a wide variety of guests on a wide variety of topics, said Green, the University of Akron political science professor. It was with a religious inflection, to be sure, but it was an approach that took up everyday concerns. His guests eventually included several U.S. presidents, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and Donald Trump. At times, his on-air pronouncements drew criticisms. I wonder why there would be criticism against God or the Word of God. Could it be the hand of Satan? He claimed that the terrorist attacks that killed thousands of Americans on September 11th were caused by God, angered by the federal courts, pornography, abortion rights. That's a weird thing to say. And church-state separation. Talking again about 9/11 on his TV show a year later, Robertson described Islam as a violent religion that wanted to dominate and destroy, prompting President George W. Bush to distance himself and say Islam is a peaceful and respectful religion. He called for the assassination of Venezuela President Hugo Chavez in 2005, although he later apologized. Later that year, he warned residents of a rural Pennsylvania town not to be surprised if disaster struck them because they voted out school board members who favored teaching intelligent design over evolution. And in 1998, he said Orlando, Florida should beware of hurricanes after following the annual Gay Day events. In 2014, he angered Kenyans. Did they have TVs in Kenya? Oh, Kenya, I'm thinking of Haiti. When he warned that towels in Kenya could transmit AIDS, CBN issued a correction saying Robertson misspoke about the possibility of getting AIDS through towels. Robertson also could be unpredictable. In 2010, he called for ending mandatory prison sentences for marijuana possession convictions. 2 years later, he said the 700 Club that marijuana should be legalized and treated like alcohol because the government's war on drugs had failed. Robertson condemned Democrats caught up in sex scandals, not sandals. I don't know, maybe they have sex sandals. I've not seen a sex sandal. That's I don't want to look for it either, but if you know what one is, put it in the comment section. Saying, for example, that President Bill Clinton turned the White House into a playpen for sexual freedom, but he helped solidify evangelical support for Donald Trump, dismissing the candidate's sexually predatory comments about women in an attempt to look like he's macho. After Trump took office, Robertson interviewed the president at the White House, and CBN welcomed Trump advisors such as Kellyanne Conway as guests. But after President Trump lost to Joe Biden in 2020, Robertson said Trump was living in an alternate reality and should move on, news outlets reported. That's funny. News outlets reported it, but we don't have a direct quote from Robertson. Robertson's son, Gordon, succeeded him in December 2007 as chief executive of CBN, which is now based in Virginia Beach. Robertson remained chairman of the network and continued to appear in the 700 Club. Robertson stepped down as host of the show after a half century in 2021, and his son Gordon taken over the weekday show. Robertson also was founder and chairman of International Family Entertainment, parent of the Family Channel Basic Cable TV network Rupert Murdoch's News Corp bought in 1997. Regent University, where classes began at Virginia Beach in 1978, now has more than 30,000 alumni, CBN said in a statement. Robertson wrote 15 books, including The Turning Tide and The New World Order. His wife, Dee Dee, who was a founding board member of CBN, died last year at the age of 94. The couple had 4 children, 14 grandchildren, 24 great-grandchildren, CBN said in a statement. Pat Robertson was just a good guy. You don't hear about scandals of him. I mean, the worst they have is, he said things that didn't align with a modern ideology. Even the coon dog liked him. So anyway, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. And come back and see me sometime. I appreciate you. And with that said, Godspeed, everybody.